this stuff tack up really good.
I didn't even think to look for this last night. This is all 100% my fault, obviously.
Hi there, folks, and welcome to this episode of Michael's Backyard Marina. Today, this is part 3, the 1973 Cobalt Survivor boat. I'm calling it because it's 50 years old and it has survived a couple of owners and a lot of time, and it's been well preserved. Today we're going to be doing some fun stuff to it. I made a mistake, I think, putting a valve cover on, and I lost about a quart of oil inside the boat as a result. We're going to pull that valve cover off today, and we're going to look at it and see what's going on there to see if I think I got part of the valve cover gasket out of position. I bought a new valve cover gasket. We're going to install that. My son is currently underneath the boat. You guys might know him as my drone pilot because all this beautiful drone footage you've been seeing is a result of his flying capabilities. I am going to be putting on a new bimini, and I'm going to time lapse you through that. It's a bimini top, 4-pole, 8-foot long, 74-inch beam width, made by Naviskin. The link below in the description to be able to get one of those. And I apologize for the sound until my mics and my receiver gets charged up. I'm going with the GoPro mic. I'm hoping it's working right now. I may have to just take it inside and test. You're gonna hear cars going by. I apologize. We're gonna get back to the mic real soon. Good news is it's not windy out. Well, so 3 things today. Valve cover issue, leaking oil, thermostat problem. If you watched the last video, thermostat problem has been resolved. It wasn't a thermostat, it was the pump. If you watch part 2, we replaced the outdrive water pump. The one that was in there was gnarly. This one's pumping like it should. Maintains 150 max temperature, wide open throttle. This thing does a beautiful job. But it's got a little 5-foot bimini on there, and you know me, I like to be out of the sun. I like to be out in the sun, but out of the sun. You know what I mean? So I've got an 8-foot bimini that's red that's gonna match this, look really good on this boat. We're gonna get that put on here. I'm just gonna time lapse you through the assembly, and then we'll do a quick walk around of it and take a look at it afterwards. And like I said, he's getting the trailer wiring redone and new lights, submersible lights, the ones that were there. When I picked up the boat a week ago, not even a week ago, 4 days ago, 5 days ago now, all the lights worked. And then slowly they quit working. Brake light quit, tail light, turn signal quit, blah, blah, blah. Well, on the way home today, one of the tail lights just about fell off. It was just hanging there at a crooked angle. It's like, well, that's not gonna work because guess what? It ain't gonna ground very well that way. So we're getting that all sorted out. So it has a good, bright LED, very visible lights when we go back to the lake, hopefully this afternoon. Our goal is to do the wiring, the valve cover. We're gonna fire it up again, make sure it's still running like it should, and bimini top, and then we're off to the lake. We'll get you some more beautiful drone footage, and we're going to do some more testing on this thing. Trucks are loud. All right, stay tuned. Enjoy the time lapse and a little bit of the music by Dan.
Alrighty folks, now that we got the bimini installed and I received a severe head wound trying to work on the trailer. Now my son's got a head wound. This trailer's just a real pain in the head for sure. So let's go ahead and pull this valve cover off and see what we can see. Let's just see what I did wrong. Boy, when these things cool down, they're really not that tight. I had them pretty snug on the water. Or what I'd call amply snug. All right, the moment of truth. Please be a screwed up gasket area. Yeah, that's not so good there. I see what got me. There's still silicone on the back of this head. Because there's not a dent in the gasket like there is around the rest of it. It's smooth. And I reached back there where I couldn't see last night. And doggone it, there ain't just a pile of silicone right there in that corner. What was I just saying earlier about silicone? Got chunks of silicone like that. The valve cover is sitting right on top of. A little chunk up front here too. I didn't even think to look for this last night. This is all 100% my fault, obviously.
You do it right because you do it twice?
We do it nice because we do it twice.
That's it. Prime example, right?
If it ain't broke, fix it till it is. Yep, we fixed it till we broke it.
Yeah, it was more than acceptable yesterday. Or with the old gasket.
Yeah, it was barely, well, it still made puddles in here, but not to this level.
No.
We went 40 miles.
And it was barely
and didn't
wet.
lose anything.
It was damp.
Yeah. This shows up on the dipstick.
Well, you're showing a quart low, yeah.
After 20 miles, it's like, okay. All right, folks. We'll see if I can show you what happened in the valve cover installation, gasket installation process. Now, this is going to be hard to see, and I'm hoping I can get enough glistening and reflecting and whatnot. So as you can see right in here, possibly, there's a dent that runs down all the way around here, gets a little flat dent. This is on the head. That dent is on the head. It's got a casting that's rough on top, right? Well, down here, there's a little not so flat here, no dent here, less dent over here. And actually on this other end, which is the back of the motor, there is zero dent through this area. And that's as a result of not having all the silicone that was left there removed from the previous install that somebody had done. So the good news is I have a new gasket. The gasket shellac worked really well. It stuck on there almost really too good, but I didn't have it, let it set up good enough in here. And you kind of see where it slid over. And it's not out where it needs to be over here, but at least it was dented and holding. So this time I'm gonna let my gasket shellac skin over, get really tacky. Then I'm gonna stick the gasket to it. Then I'll stick it back on the boat. So we're gonna go ahead and peel this one back off. The nice thing is it's all still pretty fresh, and it's gonna clean up. You can see that it actually pulled gasket and has gasket stuck to the valve cover. So this was actually working out real good. And right there wasn't anything sticking real good there. So let's clean this up and get it prepped one more time. And this gasket shellac, you guys might think it's pretty nasty stuff, but it actually scrapes off, and with a little bit of solvent, cleans up real easy. All right, we got her all cleaned up with a little bit of the old brake cleaner and the help of a, whoa, this is nasty. And the help of my wire wheel, my soft wire wheel. We're gonna go ahead and coat this one more time. This time, I'm gonna wait and let this stuff tack up really good before I stick the gasket to it. That way, it'll hold it in place. And I'm gonna wipe up anything that runs down inside. I'm just putting it on there generously right now. And lacquer thinner cleans this up. You guys might think this stuff's going to get in your engine and cause some problems, but when this stuff tacks up, it doesn't go anywhere. Gas and oil, or I shouldn't say gas, oil does not have an impact on it. It just sits right there after running it today and seeing what was left in there. Yep. This stuff stuck right to this aluminum and it didn't go anywhere. It didn't get washed down into anything. Got ourselves a tacky layer of that on. Now I'll go around and just kind of wipe up from the inside like that. Whew. Tacky stuff. Boy. I got to be very careful with this. This is the only gasket in 12 counties, I think, now. Till I order more. Not to mention, I'm hoping this gasket this is a different brand. See, the other one didn't lay in there. See, this one lays in there perfect.
Right on where it's supposed to be.
Yeah, the other one, I ain't kidding you, felt like it was about an 1/8 inch or to 3/16 short.
Yeah, squish it in.
Yeah, this one's just laying right where it blows, because the holes, I can lay it there.
You're still recording.
That's good. This is a much better gasket. Now the first stuff I used was this 3H Permatex aviation former gasket. That worked pretty good. The second stuff I used was this Permatex high tack gasket sealant. That works really well. It started to tack up. I mean, this gasket here is, I pushed down all the way around it and I can actually almost pick the cover up. It's tacked down so well. The good news with that is it's not going to go anywhere once I put this, when I flip this upside down, it's not going to fall or do anything weird. The other thing that was actually really good is this is the Felpro gasket. This is a VS, and that's important for the Napa to look it up to find it. Or I'm guessing O'Reilly's or anywhere else you're going to get a gasket. VS 131-73-1. This one actually fits really good. It's designed for GM 4.8 liter, 4.1 liter, 3.8 liter, 3.5 liter, and 3.2 liter. But nowhere does it say it's designed for a 3.7 liter GM Mercruiser. But it fits very, very well. The other gasket I had on here that I picked up that was supposed to be the right gasket actually honestly seemed like it was about an 1/8 inch shorter than it should have been, because I had trouble getting the holes to line up. Right now I got all the holes lining up really well, so that could have attributed to part of my problem. But my biggest part of my problem was obviously the rubber silicone that was still on the mating surface that needs to go right here. Now some people say, why don't you put high tack on here? Well, I'm gonna let this gasket do its job on that surface of the head, and we'll just keep snugging it down and keep it snug, and that'll keep the oil from leaking. Let's go back out there to the boat and finish making sure we got all the silicone off the head side, and then we'll bolt this down and we're ready to go back to a lake. Well, folks, we had a fantastic evening on the lake. We had a successful run. My puppy here. What you doing, Riley? We had a successful run. It got dark. By the time we got home, it was late. We just got out the water right before I needed lights. And the lights currently don't work on the boat. That'll be coming up, and we'll be working that out in future videos. Right now, everything that's on here is 1973 incandescent. I'm going to change all the lights over to LED, and I'll walk you through that process. It's really, really simple to do. But yeah, we had a great time on the lake. I wanted to cover 40 miles, and you guys might think that's crazy when I'm measuring mileage, but I just wanted to, you know, kind of put it in relative terms and distance. But top speed, I think, I don't know if I've mentioned this yet, or maybe I've mentioned it in the previous video. With this new turbo prop, that's a 20 pitch prop, at about 3,400 RPM, we were able to hit 38 miles an hour. That's wide open throttle. By going from a 17 pitch to a 20 pitch, really makes a change in your RPMs. Unless you have unlimited horsepower, you could get that, you know, if I had another 30, 40 horsepower on this boat, you know, say if it was 200 horsepower, I probably could still get to wide open throttle, and this would actually deserve and need to maintain a 20 or 21 pitch prop even. But the fact that I actually am happy with the prop. This boat jumps up on plane. It's got, with this inline 6 and 165 horses, it's got a lot of low end torque. It jumps it out of the water just about as fast as it did with the 17 pitch prop. The 17 pitch prop would run up to 4,000 RPM, which is working, you know, wide open throttle for this engine. That's the range it should be in. Anywhere from 36 to 4,100, I think, is the wide open throttle for this. Don't quote me on that. I have to look in the book again, going off memory here. But the fact that I was able to hit 38 miles an hour at 3,400, 3,500 RPM when it's fully trimmed out, you know, running smooth, running where it's supposed to be running in the water, I'm not unhappy with that. The other cool thing is I can pull it back a little bit, run at 3,000 RPM, which makes this engine sound like it's hardly even working, and I could run 30 miles an hour, which if I'm going out in the Mississippi, believe it or not, the Mississippi, from what I've read and what I've seen, is 30 miles an hour is the speed limit on the Mississippi, which for recreational boaters and tubers and skiers, that's plenty fast. That's all the faster you need to go. There's no reason to run 80 miles an hour up and down the Mississippi, mainly because there's dangers that lurk in these rivers, in the big river like that. There could be a log that you don't see. I've seen sticks, not sticks, let's call them stumps, pointed logs sticking out of the water. I told my son, I said, that would almost be invisible to see. And if you ran into that, it would just rip you right open, and the boat's going down. So 30 miles an hour is plenty fast enough for the Mississippi. And by the time you run 30 miles per hour for an hour, you've covered 30 miles, right? Which is a lot of territory to cover on a river. But eventually, maybe not this year, but next year I want to get this boat on the Mississippi. We want to run the northern part of the Mississippi. As far as I've been all the way from Clinton. If you guys are familiar with Iowa, I've been from Clinton all the way down to the southern tip, where the Missouri, Illinois, and Iowa triangle right there. That's where I got my other boat stuck on a sandbar for a little bit and almost got myself in a lot of trouble. But back to this guy, we had a great time. We covered 35 miles. The second time around with the, and I didn't waste your time showing you the install of the valve cover. It's just put it back on, snug it up with the bolts. After it settles in, you'll probably give it a couple more snugs to keep it tight. It stayed liquid tight. No oil came out of the boat, which was fantastic, right? We also have, since the water pump still working fine, doing everything it should. What else did we do this thing? The bimini we didn't get a chance to use because by the time we were out there, the sun was so low in the sky that it wasn't direct beating down on you and creating a lot of heat. And with this up, it would have been just shining in under it anyway. But that's okay. It's there for those sunny, hot days when it's sun straight up in the sky and you're out on the water. What else did we do here? Oh, the LED lights. I'm gonna flip you over to a quick clip I took in the dark. Now these LED lights were kind of a surprise. I'll leave a link below if you want to get a set just like these. The wiring kit came out great. They were good for up to a 25-foot long trailer, I believe. We ended up having to add on about, that's funny. We had to there's a cat sleeping underneath the tarp, and my dog was like nosing around, and the cat spurted out and then went hidden underneath the trailer. She's good at being a hider. But we ended up adding about 3 feet onto the wiring harness, onto the tail end of it. And the cool part is I was able to use I already had a plug that hooks up to the vehicle, obviously, and they send you that in the kit typically. There's about 3 feet there. So I was able to cut that off, splice it in to that kit, and make the connection. Not a big deal. Makes one more connection, but you know, we soldered, I shouldn't say we, my son soldered and heat shrink, you know, with the watertight type heat shrink tubing, and everything's gonna be sealed up and last a long, long time. And then we secured it with zip ties back up to the trailer so it's nice and tight. You don't want it flopping around in there rubbing the insulation off. So there's a quick clip here showing you what they look like. And they have like a little circle that you can't see in the dark, but a circle that lights up in the daytime, and then when you hit the brakes of the tail, there's a bunch of LEDs in the center that light up. So what you're seeing here is not full bright. What you're gonna see in this video is just the lights on regular. So they're very visible in the daytime, which is very important, and they're also very visible even more so at night. So that's what those LEDs looks like. The other thing we ran into on the lake, I'm gonna just coming up in this next clip, is gonna be, we ran into the DNR. And here we are. Hey, trying to do something here. Got the whole grouping of dogs. Let's call them a pack. Hey, guys, come here. Be good. Yeah, there you go. Be good. Yeah, be good. We're gonna go for, no, shh. We're gonna go for a walk in a minute. I know, just settle down. Hey, Lucy, Mercury, come here. Hey, oh, my goodness. That's the pack of dogs, mercy. But we did run into the DNR. And most people would think, oh, that's a bad thing. I don't want to deal with the DNR. I don't want to deal with the law, blah, blah, blah. I tell you what, we were coming into the no wake area, and I saw the law enforcement boat coming in on an intercepting course to us. And I looked over at my son, I'm like, oh, we're getting ready to get a safety check here, guarantee. And they came up to us, and first thing out of the gentleman's name is Chase that we were talking with, and I apologize, and I forget the lady that was with him, that was his partner on the boat. I will learn it next time I run into him, I promise. But he goes, hey, aren't you RMD Creations? I'm like, why, yes, I am. He goes, I follow your channel. I'm like, cool, I appreciate it. He goes, what you doing out here? I said, well, we just acquired this 73 Cobalt, and we're giving her some testing. We're out here for the 3rd time now with it. We had some issues that we have now since resolved, and trying to make her whole again, you know? And he's like, oh, cool. He goes, you remember me? I'm like, I don't. And he says, you bought a couple outboards. So during the pandemic and stuff, I bought some outboards from him that I was working on, and he doesn't like the old stuff. He likes the 4-stroke electronic ignition and all that fun stuff. He doesn't want to deal with points and the stuff that's on the old stuff. And so it works out great, you know. So I bought a couple of them off of him. There's a couple of them in the past that I've gotten running and working, and are used for parts, either or. But turned out to be great. Couple of people to deal with, to talk with. They gave us a couple of whistles, DNR whistles. They gave us a couple of DNR logoed fishing towels. They were great people. So don't be afraid to chat it up with your local DNR folks. Here's a picture of him and I. He goes, hey, you want to get a picture together? I'm like, heck yeah. And so I got on his boat, and we took a quick snapshot that you'll see right here. And then got back on my boat, and we probably talked for 20 minutes. And it's funny because I told him, I said, hey, my drone's up in the air. I said, it's circling us right now. I said, keep an eye on what we're doing. He goes, oh, great. He goes, you want me to turn the lights on? And I go, that'd be awesome. But unfortunately, you can't see it. He had the lights on the whole time we were sitting there talking. And from the camera angle up above, you can't really see it because they're more flat out versus showing up in the air, obviously, just by directional. But yeah, we had a good time talking with them. Had a great interaction with the DNR. Good people. I know there's a lot of law enforcement that gets a lot of negative press, and there's a lot of law enforcement that's doing a lot of good things for us out there too. So I just want to give a shout out to the local DNR. This is on the Coralville Lake in Coralville, Iowa, that we were on, and that's about the only lake that, besides the river, that I can actually, you know, wide open throttle. Everything else is around me is like a no wake lake. But anyway, so enjoy the drone footage at the end of this. I think we got you all caught up on where we're at so far on the boat. There's more to come. There's more stuff I'm doing in the boat. There's more stuff I'm doing in the engine compartment that I want to try out, educate, whatever in between. So stay tuned for more upcoming videos. I've got several other boats in the yard here that I purchased for just stripping the motors out of. Some getting running in the boat and then pulling the motor. Some are going to pull out of the boat and then get them running. If you watched up to this point, you've probably seen the 1973 Larson boat. That one has been running great as far as the engine goes, the outdrive. We've since pulled the motor and disposed of the hull. That's coming up in some upcoming videos. Give you some insights and some details along that line. What you do, what you need to do, at least around here anyway. And the proper way to dispose of certain things. Alrighty, I guess I'm gonna call that a wrap. My goal this weekend, we got some more work done on this boat. There's this video, you'll see it in probably another week or so. It's starting to get in the fall of the year. I wanna have this thing ready just to pleasure cruise, look at the leaves on the trees along river banks and lake banks and stuff, because it's beautiful in the fall around here this time of year. And we'll go from there. So enjoy the drone footage. If there's specific things you'd like to see, don't be afraid to leave a comment down below. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and share this video with other friends of yours that you think might be interested in this type of content. I appreciate everybody out there. I just looked at my subscriber count this morning. We just crested 16,000 subscribers, and that was not possible without you folks out there. I appreciate you watching. I appreciate your comments. I like to answer as many of them as I can. Not always can I get to everybody. Not always do they show up on my feed. Sometimes YouTube grabs and says, nope, not this one, or inappropriate, things like that. Except for the ones that are explicit. I have to sit there and report those every now and then. Somebody keeps dropping that stuff on my channel. But that's just life, and that's people. But I really appreciate everybody watching, and please enjoy the drone footage at the end. Now, I want your comments on this part. If you watch this far into the video, I appreciate it. I might throw this out there for a few more. My son and I have collected quite a bit of drone footage over the last couple years, and we were talking that he thinks that you folks would enjoy a drone, nothing but drone footage, from the Mississippi to the lakes to the rivers to everything in between. Just nothing but good relaxing music and drone footage. And let me know if that's something you'd like to see. If I get, let's just call it 50 comments on drone footage about doing that, I will put a collaboration together. I can easily put together an hour or an hour and a half of just drone footage video that you guys can sit there and relax and maybe even play it, watch it, and then take a nap and let her play. That's fine with me. So my dogs they're playing around behind the camera now. They're gonna knock it over. I just know it. But all right, folks, this is Mike saying, if it ain't broke, fix it till it is. And we'll see you on the next video, and we'll keep providing hopefully good quality content for you folks. And let's keep growing this channel. I appreciate it very, very much. From the bottom of my heart, I really appreciate it. I never in my wildest dreams would have thought that this, when I put out my first videos four years plus ago, that, oh wow, I got 10 views on this video and stuff like that, to getting to a point where you're getting, thousands upon thousands of views on a video every now and then. So far, the part 2 of this has received, at this time of this taping, I say taping, that dates everything, doesn't it, of recording this video, that, it's gotten 1,700 views just on part 1. Yeah, part 1. So this should be part 3. So get out there and have some fun, folks. If it ain't broke, fix it till it is. Keep the bottom side of your boat wet, and I'll see you on the next video.